Hey there, Snarf Talkers. We are adequately social distance, and we are here for your ear pleasures.
COVID Watch 2020. It's bad. It is infiltrating our lives.
Yeah,
Again.
we're 1 week into a shutdown,
Yeah, whole what was it? Like a
stay-at-home order.
stay-at-home order. That's what it was. And I don't think I've done a good job of that.
Of staying at home?
No, I go to work every day, so I don't go anywhere else though. I mean, which we can't. Although I did go to the gas station today, but they had red tape set up inside there to keep people at 6 feet away.
Yeah.
The lady had gloves on. I set the stuff on the counter in the gas station, and before that they stepped back.
Yeah.
And I stepped forward, put it down. It was.
I haven't been anywhere other than to pick up food, like from drive-thrus. That's the only place or from restaurants.
Have you done any grocery pickups?
It's like impossible to get grocery pickups right now. So
I know. So Amy and I texted a friend, or like a bunch of friends, to see if they had any grocery pickups, and one of them did. We're like, can we add food to your order? And they're like, yeah, fine. So then I Venmo'd them money, and they picked up the food for us. And then Amy,
you're
after
such a
work,
millennial.
it worked so well. It was awesome.
Venmoing money for your Walmart pickups.
And you know what all of this stuff was for? Is for me to brine my own corned beef.
Yeah, that's an essential.
It is. So I have this huge beef brisket that I thought, man, I didn't get to have corned beef on St. Patty's Day. I'm going to make my own. So I looked up all the ingredients to brine it, and I put it on our own Walmart grocery pickup. And then I realized we can't pick up any food because it's all booked up. So that's when we started asking people. And it's very unessential things like juniper berries and allspice berries and things like that to make a brine. It's like pickling spices, basically, is what I got. And I got it, and I'm brining corned beef as we speak.
Wow.
And apparently, Alton Brown, if anybody knows Alton Brown, he's from...
I mean, I know him a little bit. We're friendly socially.
Yeah. Mr. Seedentop, one of our followers, listeners, saw him in a restaurant in South Carolina. Yeah, South Carolina. They were like sitting apart from each other.
Did he attack him?
He took secret pictures of him and sent those pictures to me saying like, I'm eating lunch and drinking next to Alton Brown.
Yeah.
Which was pretty amazing.
I saw, I sat right next to Gordon Ramsay.
No, you didn't.
Well, I went to Gordon Ramsay's restaurant.
Right. Okay. Yes.
There was also a picture of him.
Okay. I've also been to a Gordon Ramsay restaurant.
And it was like Vegas. One of his like burger bar restaurants.
Yeah. Gordon Ramsay Burger.
Yeah. Something like
that. In Vegas.
Burger.
That's a weird word.
It was okay. It wasn't anything spectacular.
That's how I felt as well.
So we're like a week into this shutdown, and I think I'm going to go crazy from all the people just literally complaining nonstop about like having to be at home. I'm just like, just get over it.
Well, here's the thing.
Is it that miserable being in your house?
Honestly, all I want to do is stay home.
Me too. I'm like, this is great, dude.
I get that. I completely understand that some people are going without pay. That's a huge issue.
I'm not talking about those people.
I'm very sympathetic to that because I am fortunate enough and my wife are fortunate enough to continue to get a paycheck.
I think a lot of people too. I think most people.
A lot of people are getting it, but some people aren't. And a lot of like people that, waitresses and those type of people like are not getting paid because their jobs have been completely shut down.
Yeah.
I sympathize with that. I understand that's a huge problem, but I also like staying home.
Yeah.
And I also like watching TV and doing things around home. The biggest problem is I've done a lot of projects recently around the house that I've wanted to do for a while, but I also can't go to the store really and get like all the things I need.
You could go to Menards if you had to.
I did go to Menards once, but that place, like you said on the last podcast, is a bustling.
Yeah, it's a zoo, man.
It is crazy all the time. I pulled into that parking lot, and there were so many vehicles there. I was like, holy crap. Like, what is everyone doing at this exact location? And then I realized the exact same thing I'm doing.
Mostly just walking around.
Yeah.
A lot of people are just walking around.
Tons of people with. So I've always made fun, not really made fun of, but thought it was funny when I watched the news and saw a lot of like Asian countries wearing masks. You always see that a lot on the news, where in these countries like China and Japan and wherever else, they're like always wearing masks, like on the trains and like in public.
Yeah, mostly for like pollution, but
yes, it's mostly for pollution. But I've always thought like, that's kind of strange. Like I would never see anybody wear masks. It's all over now.
Really? I haven't been anywhere, so I don't know.
Oh man, so many people are wearing masks and gloves all the time, and I don't blame you for that. I just never thought I would see it.
Yeah.
In the United States, and me myself, I have not worn a mask. I have not worn gloves. I do use hand sanitizer and wash my hands. I try not to put them in my mouth, but I like to suck my thumb regularly. You know,
I have. If you like, the best thing I've watched, and I posted it on my Facebook wall. And it was like this, it's like an hour long total, but it's this ER doctor from New York that's like in the biggest hospital in New York that's dealing with all this right now.
Yeah, New York's
It's like
bad.
a sit-down Q&A where he talks about everything about it. It is hands down the best thing I've watched because, first of all...
Is it an older gentleman?
No, he's younger.
Oh.
First of all, it like clears up a lot of like... And granted, this is one doctor... Like, everybody needs to understand, lots of other doctors probably have other opinions.
Sure.
This is a doctor that's dealing with, and he's an ER doctor in the biggest hospital in New York. He probably knows what he's talking about.
Because they've reached their peak,
yeah,
like right now, of cases.
And it was interesting because you got a lot of good information without the fear-mongering. Mm-hmm. So it kind of puts you to ease on a lot of the stuff about the whole thing, but not in a way that... That was weird. That flickered. It kind of puts you at ease in a way, but at the same time, not without like making you not pay attention to the actual problems. But his whole thing was like, obviously stay home if you can. But his whole thing was like, you can go out. He actually said that. He's like, you can go out. You can go out to the store. If you have to go out to the store, he's like, just don't touch. Anytime you touch anything, hand sanitize your hands and don't touch your face. Just like make sure not to touch your face.
I know.
That's it. That's like the main thing. He's like, if you don't touch your face, you won't get sick. That's what he said. He's like, I work in the hospital dealing with these patients all day long. If I don't touch my face, I will not get sick.
Isn't that crazy?
And he's like, you have to have, even at 6 foot, they talk about 6 foot.
Yeah.
You have to have like 30 minutes of sustained contact with an infected person. But the other thing that, and this is just according to this guy, so I mean, don't quote it, but I thought it seemed legitimate. He was talking about, yes, you can transmit it before you have symptoms or before you have any of that.
Yeah.
But not as effectively. Like, you can really transmit it the most when you have a fever. And, like, in the days following having that fever. So, like, if you stay home isolated, if you have a fever for any reason, that alone would probably reduce the healthcare system's burden.
Right.
Enough.
So a big thing right now too is that so every hospital puts out their own standards of what you have to wear for PPE handling these things, but then the CDC has a standard of what you need to wear as well. And they came out with something that said you don't have to wear a face mask around any of those patients. Anybody that has this disease, you don't have to wear a face mask unless you're intubating them or doing some sort of procedure directly on them. But to be in the room, you don't have to wear that. They said you should wear a face shield and a gown, obviously, and gloves, but you don't need a face mask. So unless you're intubating them, that's when, or again, like physically touching them or have anything that could splatter on you, you wear the splatter protection and the face mask.
Yeah.
But just to be in the room, you don't have to wear that.
But this is like new information even from like a couple weeks ago when they thought like this is airborne. And this guy's like, it's not airborne. It's really not any different than the flu.
Creepy crawly.
It doesn't crawl.
It does. It can physically crawl if you touch your face. It's so slow. It crawls so slow.
But one thing that I thought was interesting about this guy, he's like, I would recommend everybody, if you leave your house, to wear a mask. And the big thing on Facebook right now is like to chastise people that are healthy that are wearing masks.
Really?
Like if you,
I guess I haven't noticed
like
that.
if people say they wore a mask or they take a picture and they're wearing a mask, like it's a huge pile up of people in the comments. They're like, healthy people don't need to wear masks. Healthcare workers need those masks. And this guy even said, he's like,
oh, I see what you mean.
and this guy's like, yeah, you don't have to wear, he said, I would recommend wearing a mask, just not a like
N95.
yeah, whatever, like a medical mask. He's like, but wear a mask because
Something to keep a cough off people.
it's not even for that. It's a psychological thing. If you wear a mask, you're less likely to touch your face, is what he said.
That makes sense.
But I've heard the opposite. I've heard people saying that if you wear a mask, you're more likely to touch your face. So I don't know what's actually true, but I know this doctor, ER doctor, said, and I'm not doing it. I'm just saying.
No, here's what you should do, though, is absolutely wear a mask now for at least 2 days and see if you touch your face more.
Yeah.
And then come back
But I
next
assume
week.
that means like a dust mask would be fine, or like even like a scarf, or
You
even
have a
said that.
bunch laying around.
Not anymore.
Oh, I have a box like sitting in my truck right now. But
Yeah.
it's got that, it's an N95 mask, but it's got that little flapper valve.
Reefer valve, yeah.
That can't be good.
Yeah, it's for exhaling out.
I understand that, but they get loose. There's no way that keeps you out of
I had
virus.
some for painting and stuff in my my garage, but my wife apparently stole them and took them to the hospital.
Did she donate them?
She donated them,
Nice.
and then but then the next day, like Morris Hospital put out a whole thing. Well, I told her, she told me she donated them. Like today on Morris Hospital, they had a big thing that said like, we don't need masks.
And then they like burnt them in the driveway.
No, they said feel free to donate them, but just know the only reason we're putting out the donation box is because people keep asking if they can donate.
Oh, no kidding.
Now there might be a time when they do need them, but
Right.
right now they said they don't.
They took them, so
Yeah.
that's good.
And I'm like, I told her, I'm like, you know how much those masks cost, right?
Right.
Because they're ridiculously expensive.
They really are. And right now, I guarantee you they're even more expensive.
Yeah, for like the painting N95 masks or whatever, they're like $5 per mask, basically.
Yeah.
They're crazy expensive.
At work, I just have Cintas deliver them to us.
Yeah, and then you just
Shout out to Cintas.
stuff them in your backpack and, hey, Cintas, we're out of masks again.
Yeah, sometimes. For fall harvest, I usually have masks around pretty easily.
Anyway, that's enough talk about that.
Well, anyway, yes, stay home. I put it on the podcast that we released last Friday. If you can, stay home. You know, don't go out.
I'm not about making proclamations to people.
I would say
Do whatever you want. This is
No.
you live in a free country.
no. I would say listen to your government right now.
I never
and
said
stay home.
I said do what you want. If you would like to listen to your government and the recommendations of health professionals,
That's what you're saying.
you
yes.
should do that.
And that's I'm saying you should absolutely listen to healthcare professionals and the government and stay home.
But now you're putting in a position where people need to do what you're saying.
No, I'm not. I'm saying you should listen to
No.
those people because they are correct.
I understand what you're saying, but then now you're becoming the source of telling people what to do.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you're saying you need to listen to these people.
I said you should.
I'm not about giving my.
Isn't that what I just said?
I'm not going to give. You can. Jerry
pretty
can be an
positive.
authoritarian dictator to all your people's lives.
I'm going
but
to.
to my listening audience, from me, here's from me to you. Just so you know, the CDC and all the scientists and doctors are advising us to stay home.
They are, all of them.
I'm
And
choosing
you should
to
probably
adhere to
listen
that.
to those people.
I'm choosing to do that. You know, you choose what you want to do based on what you think is the right thing to do. Because
Right.
I'm not about telling people what to do with their lives.
You can choose to do whatever you want. I suggest listening to all of those people and staying home because it's the best for all of us.
Yeah.
Flatten the curve, Chris.
I'm not saying
Chris.
I don't think that's a good thing to do.
I think you need to start flattening the curve.
I just don't think I'm in a position to be giving my opinion on the matter.
I think you're just above everyone else and want to do whatever you want.
No,
You could
that's
just,
you.
like,
You're
go
above.
around
You're
and
giving
do
them
whatever you want.
edicts.
No,
You're dictating to them.
and you're out infecting people.
I'm not going anywhere.
I'm positive you're full of COVID.
I haven't gone anywhere except for my house, this office, which nobody works in,
Well, as of right now.
and to 2 different places to pick up food.
Mm-hmm.
Outside.
Did you wash your hands and touch your face?
I wash my hands all the time.
But
And
did-
I use hand sanitizer. I carry a bottle with me.
My kids call it Hanitizer.
Sanitizer.
And I think it's the best.
I like it.
Anyways, yes, listen to me. Stay home.
You know, listen to your heart.
Listen to your heart. Snarf talk. Or no, Snarf madness.
Yes, guys. It is time for the madness.
We have the fourth round. Is it the third? Third. It's the third round.
And I just realized I forgot to score mine. So I'm just going to do it on the fly.
Okay. So it's third round coming at you. We also scored round 1 and round 2. Do we want to talk about that?
Oh, yeah, we did. We got some scoring updates based on the first 2 rounds of the madness.
You got it all written down there. You can say mine and yours.
No, I mean, I'm just going to say mine.
Oh, okay.
I didn't add up yours.
Oh, all right. What are we doing? Top 2?
Well,
Top
I'm just
3?
to say in the first round, I'm just going to give you like a first round update, a second round update, and then like an overall.
Okay.
Who's winning on my side?
Yes, sir.
In my first round, it was pretty close, but my number 1 was Ian. Ian got the most with 26 points, 26 out of 32, right? Something like that.
He had 26?
26. Close behind was my wife, Marley. And,
Of course.
you know, the pack was pretty spread out. Coming in at the end, as always, is Heather.
Heather, come on.
Round 2, my big winner, which was also pretty close, but my big winner on that one was Ian as well. Ian won my first and second round. My number 2 was a tie between Erica and Kurg.
Okay.
Overall, so right now, out of 2 rounds of scoring, for me, it's Ian is way out front.
Really?
Way out front. And bringing up the rear, but not by too far, is Nolan in my first 2 rounds.
Okay. So first round for me, I have a tie at the moment in first round, which is between Erica, Miss Fry. She's a big time listener, first time caller, and Alex. He is a first time listener, multi-time guest.
Yeah, Alex on mine too he was pretty close on both of them.
Erica and Alex both scored a 25. That was the highest in my first round. They are tied in the first round. After that, the closest was a 23 by Kurg Blaze and Mr. Keith Pfeiffer. They were both 23 points in my first round. So that was a tie for first and tie for second in the first round. Round 2, I have a clear winner. And that is, again, E-Fry.
Ooh.
She really hit the nail on the head with 28 points there.
Wow.
That's a big time score.
Ian had 28 in my second round too.
So Erica wins that one. Second place in round 2 is Alex. He had a solid 26.
But overall, my scores are all really pretty close. I'm sorry. Nolan is not in. I got that wrong. Far in the back of the pack on mine. Total for between 1 and 2 is Keith.
Really?
Yeah. He's
okay.
Not even close. Sorry, Nolan. Didn't mean to. Actually,
well,
everybody else is kind of like Ian's way at the top. Keith is way at the bottom, and everybody else is kind of just in what I like to call the big middle.
The big middle is a real thing in this contest because every round gets progressively more points. So
from the next 2 rounds is where we're going to really separate the wheat
from the chaff, as you say. Yeah, the milk from the Holstein, as we like to call it around here.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody say that, but yeah.
I've never. I just said it now. So Keith isn't doing too well for me, but Nolan, my man, it's not good for him on my bracket. He's struggling, but you got a few more rounds left, man.
Oh yeah, we got plenty of time.
You could make a big time increase.
You know what's funny on mine? Marley had a real shot at like domination.
I really thought she would.
She picked some wild ones, man.
What was she doing?
She picked Nick Fury over Spider-Man.
What was she? Did she throw darts at this thing?
She picked Iron Fist over Captain America.
Iron Fist?
What?
She did this all off the Netflix show.
Who? What?
Who?
What?
Where?
Anyway, so we'll get into right now. We're gonna do our. Is this the Sweet 16? Yeah.
No, Elite Eight.
Yeah. No, we are picking the Elite Eight. We are in the Sweet 16.
Correct, but we're picking the Elite Eight, yes.
So, with no further ado, that's a scoring update. Leaders so far for my bracket, Ian. For Jerry's bracket is Erica.
You know what? Real quick, what I got to say is when I looked at Erica's bracket originally, I really thought she was gunning for you.
Yeah. She's close, though. She's only...
She is. She's on the cusp.
She's only 5 points behind Ian.
She's on the cusp of Chris's
She's in second place in my
championship.
bracket. Actually, she's not tied for second place. She's straight up in second place.
Alex is straight up in second place for me.
And
overall, it's
Alex
Erica,
and Kurg are tied in third place, but they're all very close. So
yeah, overall, I got
literally one pick in a later round can separate them.
Erica is first, Alex is second, Blaze
and Alex is
third.
a returning champion, so
he is.
We'll see.
Oh.
All right, so we're going to get started here on the Sweet 16 Snarf Madness 2020.
20.
I'm Joe Buck. No. It's the best thing about COVID-19.
Yeah, Joe Buck is non-existent.
No Joe Buck on TV.
He's healthy. Good for him.
They were replaying tonight. They were replaying that Kerry Wood Cubs strikeout record game.
Well, I don't care. You know what they did yesterday? They played the 2005 World. They started at Game 1 of the World Series White Sox.
I was going to watch it. I couldn't figure out what channel to watch it on, so I gave up.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of it, and I'm a huge White Sox fan.
Was it on ESPN or something?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
And MLB TV.
MLBT what?
V.
Oh, that one. All right, here we go. We're going to go straight up on the East bracket. On the top left, we're going with, for my bracket, it is Daredevil versus the Winter Soldier. Mm-hmm. And for yours, it is?
Daredevil versus the Flash.
Ooh. Guys, now we're getting a little trickier for me. I'm a big fan of both Daredevil and Winter Soldier. I'm a big reader of the books. I collect both the comics. I have forever. But let's get real here. It's Daredevil coming home into the Elite Eight. It's Daredevil time.
I have to say, this was the most difficult decision out of the entire round for me.
Really?
By far.
Well, you're not as big of a Daredevil fan as I am.
Not as you.
Actually, I would think if I had to guess, I think you're going to pick Daredevil, but I'm surprised. I hadn't really thought about it, but you are kind of a Flash fan.
I am a Flash fan. I'm a big-time Flash fan. And I became a big-time Daredevil fan, later on in the Daredevil world, I guess. So it got really hard for me, but it hurt. Gosh, it hurt. I picked these at home right before I came over here, and I saved it for last. I completely skipped over it because we always start in the top left. I saw that, and I was like, nope, not doing that right now. And I went down the rest of the list, made my picks, and then I came back at it and stared at it for a while. And I ended up coming to Daredevil as the winner over Flash because I enjoy everything the Flash has done. All of the story has had so many ramifications down the line and what he's done, but Daredevil just is so gritty and dirty and terrible for him all the time. I love it. And it's just better story, I guess, in my mind. So I picked Daredevil.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a hard one.
That's a tough one.
I don't know if I'm 100% on that, so let's go to the next.
Well, I'm 100% on my pick of Daredevil, so yeah, for me, like I said, it's Daredevil's such a good character. And such an underrated character, really. And if it wasn't for the TV show, he'd be real underrated.
Absolutely. Nobody would really even know him. Like the people that we hang around with or anybody we talk to wouldn't even be speaking about Daredevil if he wasn't a Netflix show.
Weren't you telling me that he's going to be in the next Spider-Man movie?
That's the talk.
That's the rumor.
They put out a rumor that Daredevil's going to be in Spider-Man 3.
So I've been watching, the other day it popped up on my phone, Spider-Man 3 teaser trailer.
What?
And I didn't get a chance to watch it then, and I just went back tonight. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot about that.
It's got to be like fan-made.
It was fake. It basically had Venom and from the Venom movie.
I mean, it makes sense though that all of that would be
They brought in
woven
Vulture
together
again. They had,
Well, again, that is the talk that Vulture's going to be involved.
but they had Green Goblin. Wait a minute. Where did they get that footage? Maybe it was real.
Wait, was it a different Green Goblin than?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up.
We're going to look it up.
You need to quit bringing false information and sketchy information onto this podcast because we are 100% on this show.
Well, I said, I don't know. Next matchup. And I'm picking on the fly here, just so you guys don't remember. But my matchup here in the Sweet 16 is Spider-Man and Iron Man.
Mine is the same, Spider-Man and Iron Man.
In a proverbial pod.
Yeah, big pod.
Kind of.
Big old sack of a pod. Those two.
And it's really funny because I literally just got done watching Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh, did you?
Before I came over here with the kids.
I need to watch Spider-Man
Such
Far
a
From
good
Home
movie.
with Amy.
Man, I forgot how good that movie is. It's really, really good.
It's very, yes, it's very good.
Again, though, if you know me,
You know me.
I got to go with the Spider-Man, one of my favorite characters. Putting together an Elite Eight matchup that is going to be real difficult.
Real hard.
Really hard. For me, anyway. I don't think maybe for you, but
I don't know.
I'm going with Spider-Man here for sure.
Okay, so I also had Spider-Man versus Iron Man. At first, I thought it was going to be difficult, but the more I looked at it, and the more I read of that whole Chip Zdarsky run of Spider-Man, have you ever read that?
No, just I did read the first two.
It's like through the years.
Yeah.
60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. So good. And the art in that is amazing. But
after you first mentioned it, I read the ones that were out at that time, but there was only like one or two out.
Yeah, they were doing it every other month or something like that. It's very, very good. I ended up going with Spider-Man as well over Iron Man because, I mean, yeah, the story's just so much better. Iron Man is just prevalent to any of us because of the movies.
Yeah.
There's nothing there basing
There is not nearly the depth and breadth of storytelling with Iron Man that there has been with Spider-Man. Spider-Man as a character has been not only done everything that you can do with a story, also like there has been so much Spider-Man that there is legitimately completely different iterations of Spider-Man with different characters, different people. There's a whole Spider-Verse in the comics and in the movies, obviously now. It is a huge universe. It is, in fact, almost a standalone universe from the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
The Spider-Man universe is almost its own entire entity. It's their biggest character by far. The other great thing about Spider-Man that I've recently run into is Jet, my 2-year-old son, is literally obsessed with Spider-Man.
Really?
And it's the greatest thing ever.
I'm sure you're happy about it.
He today was wanting, because all he wants to watch is Spider-Man. Spider-Man. And we just got him Spider-Man bed sheets. Anyway, but he won't watch like the little kids Spider-Man cartoon. They have one called like Marvel Adventure Team or whatever it's called. He only will watch the 1990s animated Spider-Man.
That's fine.
Which is like 90% just people talking.
It is. It's not very good. I don't think.
I love it.
I don't think it's very good.
I absolutely love it. But
I think it's the worst probably that he could have ever watched.
It's not very action-packed. It's like a lot of posturing and like villains explaining their plans to other villains and like Kingpin overlording over things.
Yeah.
It's a very mature show for a children's animated series.
When I go back and watch some of these 90s shows, a lot of them are. Same with X-Men. X-Men's the same way.
Both of them are exactly the same. They're basically the same show, and they're significantly different than Batman the Animated Series. So Batman the Animated Series was a much more action-oriented show.
Much better, way better put together, just all over a better cartoon.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, it was more cinematic in scope, but also they're just different.
They're very different.
Like X-Men and Spider-Man are more story based. They're literally like comic books.
Yeah.
The Batman
To a point.
animated series is less like a comic book and more like a feature.
Yeah, more like an actual show, like
Yeah.
more like an actual animated show. I think it was because
Even the way that Spider-Man and X-Men are animated, it's almost like in standstill frames.
that's what I was just gonna say. The animation alone is completely different, and to be honest, like Batman the animated series was like way beyond its time on the way they animated the show. It was completely different than what other people were doing, and that's what made it like stand out from everyone else. Because at the time, everything was like X-Men, G.I. Joe, Spider-Man, like all of those cartoons that were out at the time were the same thing.
Yeah.
They animated everything the same way. The story was the same way. And that's what you got, which we all loved. I freaking loved the X-Men show.
Well, I just like that in Spider-Man how deep they got into like deep complicated storylines.
So I was playing X-Men for the boys the other day, and I sent you that picture, and they loved it, and they call it like they want to watch that Cyclops show. They said, let's see that Cyclops show. I was like, it's X-Men. Please start calling it X-Men. Like I literally sat them all down, and I was like, this is the
Listen, guys,
X-Men.
Cyclops sucks. He's the worst.
Yes,
we don't call it that.
If you've been following along with Snarf Madness, you can see that I didn't pick Cyclops to win anything. I don't like Cyclops. I don't. And I told them that. I was like, quit calling it Cyclops show. If you want to call it Wolverine show, I'd be happy with that.
But he shoots lasers from his eyes, bud.
I don't care. I don't care. So does Superman.
That's true.
And nobody comments on that. Anywho, they started watching it though, and they really like it, so I'm happy about that. But then I noticed in the show that it was talking about things, and it was handling like issues that were way beyond what these like 7, 5, and 3-year-olds could really like
contemplate.
Yeah, like have in their brains.
It's because they're like straight up based off comic book storylines.
Yeah. I was like, holy crap, I enjoyed this as a child because I'm having a hard time following them right now.
Yeah. Yeah, but I got deep into it when I was a kid. Yeah. They were like soap operas. They really are like soap operas. The Spider-Man is definitely like a soap opera.
It's like, let me get my shows.
Batman was more like
Saturday morning
fun.
Cartoons, man. We had like a binge of Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah.
And that was part of it on Fox.
All right. We're going up to the next one. The West bracket. Picking the Elite Eight. I got Doctor Strange versus Captain America.
That's exactly what I have.
Okay, and I'm picking this on the fly. This is a
hard one.
Hard one.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to go against type here, and I think I'm going to go with Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going with Doctor Strange.
You are.
Yeah. I've been a fan of Captain America ever since I was a kid. I've been reading Captain America comics, but he's always just kind of been a vanilla character to me. There's nothing particular that always like stands out. He's just always like a do the right thing, like always the proverbial Boy Scout.
Wouldn't you want to be the guy that does the right thing?
No.
You don't?
No, I'm more of a fan of the anti-hero or the smart ass hero. So, it's not that I don't love the character, and I think the character Captain America has evolved dramatically since the MCU.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So if this was before MCU, it wouldn't even be a question to me. Post MCU, it becomes much harder, and that's straight up because they gave that character the most interesting things that have been done with that character in a long time. And I was a huge fan of the Civil War run of the comics in the mid 2000s, and I feel like that's when they really started giving Captain America some interest because again, he wasn't just this plain Jane vanilla character anymore. Now he's a vigilante.
Right.
Now he's a freedom fighter versus the United States government. And that started making the character interesting, and they took that all the way through the movies, and that's exactly what they did with the movies. They went to Winter Soldier, and that's where the break happened. So, I mean, it's a great character, But to me, Doctor Strange has always been more interesting. I've probably read a lot more Captain America in my life, but Doctor Strange has always been more interesting because, I mean, he's a freaking sorcerer, man. He's a sorcerer supreme. It's interesting character. He casts spells. He has magic. It's just it's a wildly imaginative character, and I think that's why I ultimately have to give it up to him. Plus, they've done great things with him in the movies too, with Benedict Cumberbatch.
To be honest, I agree with you. But I ended up picking Captain America.
I mean, I'm not surprised. I figured you would. An army boy and all.
I know. And honestly, I 100% feel like that's why I picked it. I don't feel like it's based on anything other than that.
Yeah.
I just love the whole soldier thing. But the way you talk about Doctor Strange, it makes me want to take back my pick, but I can't. I do love Captain America. I have read way more Captain America than I have Doctor Strange, to be honest. I started reading more Doctor Strange when the movie came out.
If you read to the old Doctor Strange, it's not that great. But either is old Captain America.
No,
so.
And I mean, to be honest,
But the newer
if you go back to any of the like Golden Age and Silver Age
60s,
stuff,
70s, no.
A lot of people aren't going to enjoy that writing and art to be like of any of them, even the best stuff.
Yeah,
everybody looks at as kind of like okay.
To me, you really got to get into the 80s when stuff started to change.
Right. It Frank did.
Miller,
it changed
Alan
a lot.
Moore, these people came out in the industry.
But if we're basing it off of like really good story, I feel like Captain America has that story. I know he is.
It's classic. I mean,
he's
it's a
pretty vanilla,
story.
like you said, but it is classic story. But once the Winter Soldier came along, it added so much more depth to his character.
But for me, that's it. I mean, that's really it for that character because other than the comic run in the mid 2000s.
But what else does Doctor Strange have? I mean, he is like Sorcerer Supreme, and I get that. Like, I love the Sorcerer stuff.
It's a world building thing. I like world building, right?
Yeah.
And there's a universe created around that character that character belongs in, and everything around him belongs in. And Captain America is, I mean, honestly, just kind of in a way bland.
But everything is based around Captain America for Avengers, like everything.
For the MCU. Well, you mean the Avengers, like in general?
In general, yes.
Yeah, he's been a leader.
He's been a very crucial part to all of that starting.
Yeah, but Doctor Strange has been a leader of the Avengers too. So is Iron Man.
Yeah, a leader. I'm not saying like a leader. I'm saying he's been a very crucial part to every iteration of that.
Yeah, I mean, Captain America has been a crucial part of comic books
for much longer than Doctor Strange,
a long time.
I like him better.
But he is bland,
by far
character.
My winner.
Fine. Agree that they're both great, but we picked differently.
And that's why we have two different brackets.
This next one is a doozy, folks. I got Swamp Thing versus Deadpool.
Yes, I also have Swamp Thing versus Deadpool.
Yeah, this is a brutal pick for me.
It would be. I have no idea what you would pick. Can I just say mine real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because
I know what you're picking.
By far Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
I will pick Swamp Thing way before Deadpool. The only reason Deadpool is even up against Swamp Thing is because he was against Harley Quinn before that, and that's a stupid pick.
Yeah.
So Swamp Thing has way better story. He's basically like omnipotent. Like he is like everything to me.
Yeah.
So Swamp Thing.
So
obviously.
This isn't as easy for me.
The green.
Yeah. I love Swamp Thing. There's no doubt about it. But it's relatively new. You know, I haven't been a Swamp Thing fan for a long time. I didn't know a ton about the character for as long as I have Deadpool, probably. Deadpool also hasn't been around nearly as long as Swamp Thing, not even close. Deadpool came around in the early 90s. Swamp Thing's been around since the late 70s. Deadpool is a joke.
Yes.
right? It is a joke of a character. It's comedy, is what it is.
Yeah, and that's not downplaying
No,
anything. Like
it's
that's
done
the
well,
way he's
but
written.
that's what it is. It's comedy, and I have always just, for some reason, loved that character. The snark, the comedy, the adult humor of it all. Swamp Thing also, has had unbelievable stories. I don't even know. I don't know what to do here. Honestly, there's been no real.
Yeah, you're picking on the fly. I
Real
forgot about this.
iterations of Swamp Thing that have been, in my opinion, very good in movies or television, for the most part. Other than that DC animated movie was pretty good. That had him in it. Deadpool has had fantastic iterations in both
Yes.
animation and in movies. Man, I think
This is.
I don't know.
I don't know what you're gonna do. I don't. This is so great to watch.
I think that I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go with Deadpool.
Oh my gosh, Chris.
I think I'm going to go with Deadpool based off of, the amount of time that I've loved that character, A, and B, how great the movies have been, the Ryan Reynolds movies, how great and how entertaining they've been.
But the bullcrap part of all of this is that Swamp Thing could have phenomenal movies and phenomenal TV shows. It's just that nobody's picked it up and done any of them.
It isn't the only reason I'm picking it. It's because Swamp Thing is an amazing character and exists
But
in
we're
a
talking
world.
about story, Chris.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm getting to. So he exists in a world separate, and has amazing stories, and you can do a lot of amazing things around that character. He is kind of like a godlike character. But Deadpool is it's something completely different too, where it's lighter and it's more comedic and it's funner.
And that
They're both good separately.
There is no humor very, very minimal humor and fun in any of the Swamp Thing things.
And there are Deadpool at times can get a little deeper and touch on some of the comedic value of the tragedy
Yeah.
that is his existence. But for the most part, it's so Swamp Thing is so grim,
I know. I love it.
so dark.
The funny part about all of this is that I am not that person in real life.
No, not at all.
100% of my life is very happy,
Yeah.
happy-go-lucky guy. That's me. But everything I read or want to watch is grim and dirty and doom and gloom, which is so strange, I think. But I love that story. I just love that type of story.
Yeah, I did too. But ultimately, I'm going with Deadpool just because I can remember being a younger kid. I don't know, before I was even a teenager.
Yeah.
And just being obsessed with Deadpool.
Just really looking for humor and light.
No, I just love that character, and I don't know why. So I'm gonna go with it.
Guys, this is really where the bracket diverges.
Shocking.
This is where your scores are going to diverge, because I didn't
Two paths split in the woods.
right there. I didn't.
And I took the one less traveled, Jerry.
I knew you liked Deadpool a lot. I really did. I knew it was one of your favorite characters, but I honestly didn't think you would pick him over Swamp Thing because of story. Because everything else, if you listen back to any of the other episodes, everything else was based on story,
Yeah.
and heart and things like that. Swamp Thing has so much of that,
Yeah, absolutely.
and you completely turned on it.
Because I don't want comedy done well, I think is more difficult.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So I feel like just saying that alone is kind of disparaging towards comedic performance as a whole.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to ascribe significance when you have an ultra dark, dramatic story.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to do a lighthearted, fun thing and have it carry the same emotional resonance. And I think there's a lot of skill in that. And I think they've done a lot of interesting stuff with that character.
I completely agree with you. And then that goes into our next bracket on
Yeah.
the south side, where I have So we're talking about the South bracket now, and I have Spawn versus Wolverine. Mm-hmm. That right there is two relatively dark characters.
Yeah, for sure.
In a way. Spawn is very overly dark because we're literally talking about a hell spawn. And then we're talking about Wolverine, who has a terrible life, you know, like as an X-Men, coming up, being created, having everything happen to him. Nothing good happens. But in a way, it's a little more light than what Spawn is. I mean, Spawn is...
It's kind of a similar story, to be honest.
Very dark, though.
Yeah.
It's an overly dark take of Wolverine, I guess. Mm-hmm. But so I have Spawn versus Wolverine. If you followed anything, you would know what I'm going to pick here, and that's Wolverine.
Yeah.
Over Spawn. The story with Wolverine, everything that hovers around Wolverine is just better. Spawn is like a very niche type character. Niche. Niche.
Yeah.
Is that right?
It's niche.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% sure.
Is that what Webster's dictionary would tell us?
Yep.
All right. Well, niche. Spawn is very niche.
Yeah.
Although the art is amazing.
I agree. It's a niche
Wolverine.
B-list kind of character.
Wolverine is up front there. Way better story. Way better character.
Wolverine is probably the number 2 Marvel character of all time.
Would that be the penultimate?
Yeah. Wouldn't you say he's the second most popular Marvel character?
What do you say is the first?
Spider-Man, probably.
For Marvel?
Yeah.
You think right now you think that's
Just
true?
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, you're probably right.
Now and throughout history of...
Yeah, you're probably right. Yep. I picked Wolverine over Spawn. Not a hard pick.
No.
For me whatsoever.
I have a difficult pick. That's Harry Potter. Harry Potter versus Wolverine.
That's silly.
No, it isn't silly, Jerry.
That's kind of silly.
Obviously, I love Wolverine. He's a great character. Very similar to Deadpool in a lot of ways. He's the exact opposite of Deadpool.
Don't do those to me.
But, the Harry Potter universe,
Oh, my God.
Jerry, is where it's at.
I cannot handle you.
And we're going Potter, baby. Harry Potter for the win.
I cannot understand this.
You wouldn't, because you
I
haven't
can't.
read the books.
Oh, my gosh.
Read them, Jerry.
I'm literally speechless right now. I don't understand that pick. I can't understand that pick. I won't understand that pick.
I love Harry Potter. End of story. I desperately want there to be more Harry Potter. I want there to be more books. I want there to be more movies. I want there to be more everything. I love that whole world. I love wizards. I love magic. I love Hogwarts. I love the Whomping Willow, Jerry. I love Hogsmeade. I love Butterbeer. I love Gryffindor.
Yeah.
I love Dumbledore. All the doors.
What about Adamantium?
Yeah, I mean, I love Wolverine too. He's one of my favorite characters. There's been amazing stories. It's been a huge part of my life. Honestly, not though. It hasn't always been.
Here's the difference.
I wouldn't say Wolverine's like one of my top favorite characters.
Here's a question I have for you. Do you think like novels as a story give him an edge over Wolverine as a comic book?
Definitely.
So you're saying novels are better than comic books in story?
I think that they're different.
Oh, very
Very different. But definitely when you read a novel, you paint the picture in your own mind, and I think it's easier to lose yourself in that universe. And it's a little unfair in general.
That's what I was going to say. Isn't that kind of unfair? Because you're going with, like, if you...
I don't really know
They could write a novel about Wolverine. They could write 7, 12...
I'm sure they have.
50 novels
but I've never
about
read them.
Wolverine. And they could be absolutely comparable, if not more in depth, than what a Harry Potter story is.
Probably. Here's the deal. I don't really know how Harry Potter ended up on this list because there's literally no other characters on here.
That is a novel.
That is a novel. I mean, there's tons of novels about all these characters, but
Yeah.
is there a Harry Potter comic book?
I don't know.
How did he end up on a comic book list?
That's what I'd like to ask you.
I didn't do like the whole list.
Well, I mean, I think I took him out.
Really?
Pretty sure I did.
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think I did either. But
There are Harry Potter comic books. I mean, they're not common. So it probably shouldn't be on the list, but I guess what? I got to pick Harry Potter. So
and I picked Wolverine. Next.
now I don't want to pick him, though, because it's not really a comic book.
Well, you did. Every single round, you've picked him.
Oh, Harry Potter is in the comic book world. Harry Potter is in Young Justice #1. The new book that just came out. He's a DC. He's part of the Young Justice.
He's a DC character?
Apparently, I don't know.
Goodness.
Oh, wait.
I had more respect for DC than that.
I have no idea what's going on. Anyway, I picked Harry Potter. End of story. Let's move on.
Okay, next bracket.
Nightwing versus Batman.
Nightwing versus
The
Batman.
Master versus the Apprentice.
Yeah, that's 100% the truth. And
Come on.
I mean,
Come on, son.
Batman.
You don't get no Nightwing without no Batman.
Yeah, Batman's the ultimate.
Batman all the day. That's not even a question.
No, we both pick Batman because he's better than Nightwing.
I got to have Batman versus Harry Potter, though.
Oh, wow, that sounds hard. I have Batman versus Wolverine.
I hope Batman's got some anti-magic devices.
It's not about them fighting. Oh, he would. He absolutely would have that.
All right, here we go.
Okay, next one, because we all pick Batman. Next one, I have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus Thor.
Yes. The God of Thunder.
Yeah, there was no song involved with Thor.
Yeah, there is.
Thor. If I was picking verse song, I would pick that song. Oh, immigrant song.
Yeah, that's the Thor song. It's from Thor Ragnarok.
Is it? Is that in Thor Ragnarok?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Come to the land of the ice and the snow.
Ice and snow.
Ice and snow.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus Thor for me. Who do you have?
I have Ghostbusters versus Thor.
So can I tell you my pick? Or you
Sure,
want to
go
first?
ahead.
TMNT versus Thor. I pick Thor.
You picked Thor.
Thor's story is better. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is kind of like surface level for me. I love the Turtles. They are fun. Everything about them is fun. But Thor is just better story. I like, again, like he's got more grit, more true grit. He's like the John Wayne of this story. And I pick Thor.
The Rooster Cogburn.
Yeah, he is kind of like a Rooster Cogburn. I mean, literally, because Rooster Cogburn has an eye patch. Thor gets an eye patch.
That's true.
Yeah. Yes, Thor.
All right. I got Ghostbusters versus Thor. This is a difficult one.
Not really.
So I love Thor because of mostly Chris Hemsworth. Don't have much else to do with that character. Mm-hmm. Although I've read quite a bit of Thor over the years.
I know you have. And it's better.
Ragnarok's amazing. Ghostbusters, though, I've been a fan of my entire life. Love the movies. Love the cartoon.
Yes.
Haven't read a lot of the comics, I'll be honest, but it's a long-running comic series. For me, who are you going to call, Jerry?
Thor.
Ghostbusters!
No, if I was literally going to call someone, I would call Thor.
I would, too. But I'm picking Ghostbusters.
Are you really?
Yes, I am.
Wow. I'm telling you guys, this is where we diverge.
I love Ghostbusters, man.
It's
Come on.
good. It's good. It's fine.
I love comedy, Jerry. Comedy.
I know. And I like the grit and doom and gloom.
I love
and
ghosts. I
the
love
God of
busting.
Thunder.
I love science. I love paranormal.
God. I mean, Thor has all of that.
I like both of them a lot.
He has a hammer
But overall, I got to go. I'm basically,
and an axe.
I don't know what to tell you.
You're gonna go against
My
like
life
a
has
natural
been
comic book
my
enthusiast.
life has been affected more by Ghostbusters than Thor
Okay,
throughout the course of my life.
I get that.
That's
And
it.
that's normally how I choose.
Yeah.
Like how it affects my life and like nostalgia.
It's not just nostalgia. I mean, it's a more interesting characters to me. It's a more interesting story to me.
You think?
Definitely.
You know how much more story is that Thor has?
Yeah, a lot. I like a lot of Thor stuff, but I'm more familiar with the Ghostbusters stuff, to be honest. So I'm
Okay.
going with that.
Last bracket, man.
Last one.
Last one of the Sweet 16.
I got Ant-Man versus Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's what I have as well.
All right. I'm kind of regretting my decision to pick Guardians of the Galaxy over Captain Reynolds, to be honest with you, because I love Firefly so much.
You're regretting that pick?
I actually had crossed that out. I don't know if you saw my bracket.
No, I didn't. I didn't even notice that.
Picked that, and then I changed my mind and went
That's
with Guardians
big.
of the Galaxy. It is big. I love Firefly that much, but that's old news. We're in the new world now. So I got Ant-Man versus Guardians of the Galaxy. For me, my only familiarity really with either character is from the MCU movies.
Yes.
And
I
of
agree.
those, I mean, everybody knows that Guardians of the Galaxy is my favorite of those movies.
Yes.
So I'm going with Guardians of the Galaxy.
So I rewatched Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp recently, and damn, those movies are good.
They are good, man.
Gosh, they're really good. And Guardians, I've watched so many times.
Billions.
1 and 2, I've watched so many times. And they are better.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm picking it off of. Like you said,
that's the only
like I'm
thing.
not basing it off of the comic books really because I don't have much knowledge in either one of them. But Guardians is by far my favorite.
Yeah.
Everything about them is better. So Guardians is my pick.
All right. So that wraps it all up.
So we have our Elite Eight picked.
For me, the East bracket, Daredevil versus Spider-Man.
And I have Daredevil versus Spider-Man.
West bracket, Doctor Strange versus Deadpool.
And I have Captain America versus Swamp Thing.
I would have never expected Doctor Strange to be in my Elite Eight.
You know, I thought he would be, and he isn't.
Really? I would have never thought of it. I never would have thought it would happen.
I don't know. I thought he would be, but it's just the matchup. It just happened to be against Captain America, and I honestly thought Captain America and Doctor Strange would be in my Elite Eight, but it's the way it's bracketed, and it's what we have.
My South bracket, I got Harry Potter versus Batman.
And my South bracket is Wolverine versus Batman.
And in my Midwest bracket, I got Who You Gonna Call? Ghostbusters versus Guardians of the Galaxy.
And I've got God of Thunder, Thor, versus Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes. All right. Well, this is interesting because I got at least 2 matchups, 3, 4. I got 4 difficult matchups, a couple of which are going to be heartbreakers.
Yeah, Batman versus Wolverine. This is bullshit, Chris. Like, this is bullshit.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Alex is going to kill me.
You think so?
Yeah. He's going to be so pissed that I have Harry Potter versus Batman.
Well, he's going to have a bracket closer to mine, I think. Yeah. As looking at it now. But, yeah, this is a big deal. So, our Elite Eight is chosen.
It's chosen.
We are done. Next
song. No, that's I'm excited. I'm excited about all this Snarf madness.
I know,
stuff
it's
going on.
so fun to choose these things, guys. I know we're just choosing characters like over another, but these are, I don't know, these are things that have been through our lives that we love so much, and we're choosing one over another.
And honestly, like, if I look at this list,
how do you go back on this?
if I look at this list, it's really easy for me. I go like, what characters have had the biggest impact on my life? And with the exception of maybe a Doctor Strange, Daredevil, Spider-Man, Harry Potter, Batman, Ghostbusters, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Deadpool. Those characters have probably had the biggest impact on my life.
Yeah. And I mean, Batman, Wolverine, Guardians, Swamp Thing, Daredevil.
Oh yeah,
my gosh.
Swamp Thing. Yeah, that was tough. Like honestly,
No, you dropped the ball there, Chris.
I wish Swamp Thing was against. Like he would have won if he was against Captain America or Doctor Strange easily.
Yeah, but they weren't bracketed.
But they weren't bracketed that way.
I know.
So that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
So that's what you have to take in consideration here is that how they're bracketed. So we could do this exact same bracket next year. We could do it and switch all the characters around.
You could have
and
Spider-Man and Batman in the first round against each other.
And it would be
then it would
completely
change
different.
everything. You might end up in a situation where your final four has Mystique in it, you know, just because of the way it falls.
Right, probably not.
Probably not. But
yeah, you could. You could have something wildly different.
you could imagine a world like where in our brackets, Hulk didn't get out of the first round.
I know, and
Hulk
that's
could
silly.
be a final four character for me.
He absolutely could be.
Hulk has more, like honestly, Hulk to me would be Doctor Strange in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
But
he
that's
really
not where
would
they
have.
are.
He really would have. Oh man, that's crazy. I would have had Punisher a little bit further on if he wasn't against Jean Grey, and Jean Grey didn't make it out of the second round. So
Yeah, it wasn't even a thought of making it out of the second round.
no, because Doctor Strange was there. I don't know, guys. This is
Weird.
crazy.
It's weird. It's weird how it shakes out.
So I saw a little bit of news today.
Oh, news. You got the news I can use?
I just have like one little tidbit that Disney is talking about Black Widow and Mulan, those two movies, because of the situation we're in, not giving them a theatrical release and putting them direct to streaming.
Okay, so direct to purchase?
Yes. So it would
For
be
how long?
they didn't say. And this was
First of all, I'm going to tell you what.
complete like conjecture on people's parts. It has been posted on multiple different sites. It was all based off a tweet off of one person that was involved in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like in depth involved. I can't remember her name. It was a woman. She put it on Twitter, got tons of backlash from Marvel hardcores. And she
Why? Because they want it in theaters?
Yes, because they're saying no way that this isn't a theatrical release movie. And what she was saying is like, it's not that it isn't a theatrical release movie. It's that nobody is going to be able to go to the theaters for
So why
like
don't they
an
just delay it?
indefinite amount of time, and they don't want to delay it that much. They're talking about maybe the whole year, all of 2020, nobody going to movie theaters.
Who's talking about that?
I mean, do we have a time frame on when people can go to movie theaters right now?
Well, as of right now, April 7th. But
Completely doubt that.
yeah, it ain't going to be a whole year. I bet you by
Fall?
July or August.
I'm saying fall time frame that people are.
We're going to live in this
allowed-
shutdown until fall, you think?
I do think so. I do think
That
it's
would be
going
the
to
end
go.
of every restaurant in this country.
I don't know.
It's just not going to happen.
It's there. I don't think they're going to allow more than a certain amount of people to go to these movies, and they're not going to release these movies if you can only have 15 people in a room.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Here's the deal, though. For me, it's a huge win because I'll pay for that movie the day it comes out for $20.
So will I.
Because if I went to the movie theater with all 5 of my family
It's going to
members,
be $60.
it's plus snacks and stuff. We're going to be at $100 for the night.
Yeah, I know. I don't think it's
Or
a bad
if
thing.
me and Marley go and leave the kids at home with a babysitter, we're still at $100 because I got to pay the babysitter.
I know.
So if I pay $20 and I get to own the movie, see, I was still going to buy that movie anyway for $20 down the road.
I know. So it's still a loss for
The
all
only
of the
thing
movie
that will
companies.
kill me is I like to purchase the movie, the disc in 4K after it comes out
Why?
because I like to buy the physical media.
Do you ever watch those again?
Yeah, of course I do.
The actual physical disc?
Yeah, if I want to watch it in 4K.
Okay. Because pretty soon, you won't even need that disc for 4K, right?
Well, actually, I don't really need it now because my Netflix does it in 4K.
Yeah,
But my internet's not quite fast enough, but it's pretty close. Like, it can pretty much watch a whole movie.
Is it like Blu-ray quality?
It's not. Yeah, it is actually.
Oh, I know. Everything is basically now.
Surprisingly, yeah. Disney Plus is pretty good too. Actually, the only issue I was having, I was watching stuff on 4K on Disney Plus, and the only issue I was having was, I think, Disney Plus's issue, not my internet issue. And that was originally. I have not had that problem with Disney Plus since at all.
Mine's had a little bit of lag, but I think it's because of the Fire Stick more than Disney Plus itself.
Could be. Could be.
But anyway, that's a big deal for, Black Widow and Mulan. Mulan was supposed to come out yesterday on the 27th.
And it didn't come out?
No, they didn't release it.
So what is their plan?
They can't release it when no movie theaters are open.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just on hold for a while. It was supposed to come out the 27th.
Because that movie looks so amazing. Both of those movies look amazing. And it's such a fucking shitty situation because
it's unbelievable.
We're living in a time right now.
It's unprecedented. You'll never see it again.
We're living in a time right now where, like, both those movies in particular coming out are hugely, it means a big deal because it's the first Marvel female-led superhero movie. Outside of Wonder Woman, it's really the first female-led superhero movie coming out. It was probably going to make $1 billion. Mm-hmm. And now it's completely done. They're going to lose their asses on it, But also, it's just people. It sucks for women.
It's
to be
not
honest.
good.
And then like Mulan's kind of the same story. You know, it's definitely like a female-led Asian lead, made in concert with China. Like it was a huge international working together to make this movie. You know, it was, and now there's like this whole animosity between China and the United States. Like it's just weird how that is all shook out. These were both going to be monumental things.
Yeah, they really were.
And for women, for one thing, but also just for like international relations and how that all shakes out. And it's just not going to be the case anymore.
So they pushed that back, and then New Mutants, the New Mutants movie was supposed to release April 3rd. That's going to have to be pushed back as well.
That's crazy. It's insane. But honestly, I wasn't going to be able to see a lot of these movies because of the time of year. It's just busy. And
I mean, I feel like we would have been able to see Mulan right now.
Yeah. Mulan I would have seen, but in May, Black Widow, I would have seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, you would have seen that. But yeah, that's
I probably
big
wouldn't
news.
have seen New Mutants, but I will buy all of those the day they come out. And then, you know what? Here's the deal. I'll still go buy the disc just because I'll feel bad.
Will you?
No.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just didn't think you would.
No, I just changed my mind.
I will buy it when it comes out to watch the movie right away because what's the difference?
Yeah, like you said, I was going to do that the other day with Onward. The Disney movie Onward came out.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I'm like, oh, this is great because we were going to see this in theaters. We had the opportunity before the shutdowns, but we didn't make it. But we were going to go see it. I'm like, well, we just saved a bunch of money. We'll just buy it and we'll own it anyway. And then right after they released it, they said, but on April 5th, it's going to be on Disney Plus. I'm like, well, then I'm not going to buy it.
Right.
That was dumb. Why did they do that?
They do that with everything. Now, like you can, if you click on, like all of those movies are on Disney Plus. If you click on it, it won't let you play it. It'll just say it's coming to Disney Plus at this time.
Yeah.
So nobody buys those.
Right.
If they didn't put it on Disney Plus with a release date to say it's coming to this platform at this time, more people would just buy it to watch it. And
I guess, but here's the deal. They make way more money in the long run off Disney Plus subscriptions.
But not, I mean, you're talking about like people that already have Disney Plus subscriptions that are still going to go to the movie theater. So you're still taking away that money from the movie theater or whatever else they're going to buy it on or see it on. Like you're taking that away and saying only your subscription now is going to give us the money for that movie. So they're losing money no matter what.
No, not necessarily. If having that content on Disney Plus drives a bunch more subscribers, which it will.
To a point, but I mean, don't you think it's saturated by now?
No.
Especially with like the Frozen 2 release and now like an Onwards coming out and all these things are going to come out that you know for sure on Disney Plus. It might have drove up the subscription from that, but I mean, you're not going to pull much more.
Monthly subscriptions is the game now. This is what the game is. They have 15 million users on Disney Plus?
Exactly.
There is 6 billion people in the world.
I know that, but you're
If
still
every one of them's giving them $5, if a billion people are giving them $5, that's $5 billion a year.
But I don't think you're
Netflix has a billion subscribers.
I don't think you're gonna draw the amount of people to subscribe to Disney Plus as you are from the amount of money you're gonna get from a theatrical release.
I don't know.
The amount of money you get from the theatrical release is more than what your subscribers are going to be, because you're only getting $5 out of those people rather than
But every
whatever
month.
from every month. You're right, but that one movie is going to make you, like you said, $1 billion.
Not profit though. But the $5 a month is almost all profit.
So let's say $500,000 you're getting bang from a release of one movie.
500 million. Yeah.
Or yeah, $500 million. Boom. Off of one movie right away, and then you still get those subscribers. Because all of those people still want to see it on Disney Plus as much as they can.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure somebody knows that. That's smarter than us. But obviously, there is massive amount of money being made on monthly subscription streaming services.
Absolutely.
I mean, that is where the future is. So this whole like late renaissance of the movie theaters that has occurred over the last 5 years was kind of unforeseen. Like, they were pretty much calling it dead.
Yeah.
Really, before
They were,
Marvel, basically. Before Marvel.
Well, right, but there has been a time. I mean, Marvel basically boosted the whole comic book industry.
Yeah.
I mean, comic books were nothing compared to what they are now before those movies
Right.
made anything.
But my point is, like, could you imagine a world, like, there was a time before Marvel movies where, yeah, you would occasionally have your blockbuster movie, but it was like $150 million movie, and it was something different than what it is now. Like, now it's just these tent post movies. There's one every 2 months or so. They're spaced out from about 4 different companies that make them. And that is what movies is now.
Yeah.
Like, nobody is going to see any of the other movies in the theaters. It's just not happening. So the only ones that are really getting made are these gigantic franchise movies. But now that might be over.
Yeah, it really could be.
And it really might be over, like, for good.
I wouldn't say for good.
I think there's a lot of things about this that are going to change the way people live.
But nobody is going to want to not go to the movies. I mean, some people will. And it has, I mean, the curve has went down, obviously, in the world since all of these streaming platforms have come out. Like, less people are going to the movies. But
Are they? I don't know.
But I still
Movie
think you
theaters
have
are
that.
bigger than ever.
I still think you have that main
Demographic of
yeah,
people.
demographic of people that are going to watch these movies
Yeah.
and are always going to, like you and I. We always want to go see big movies when they come out.
Yeah.
We want to do it because there is a different atmosphere. There's a different it's just different watching that movie in a movie theater. I don't know what it is. Maybe it is just the atmosphere. Maybe it is just having that, you know, big bowl of popcorn with your cherry Pepsi.
Absolutely. And, you know, if I go off of that, which I do
And for me, it really is just that.
Yeah. And, you know, it's fun to go with your friends or to go with your family
you look
to
at-
go out to the movie. It's something to go do.
It is, but you look at Avatar or Doctor Strange or any of those movies, when we saw those in theaters, that is the best iteration of that movie we've ever seen.
Right.
Compared to what we've seen at home. I've watched Avatar a million times. I've watched Doctor Strange a million times. And at home, it is not as good as what I saw in the theaters. It's just not.
Yeah, I do. I do love going to the theaters, and I do generally live my life by this one principle that no one is unique. Really. So, like, if you think...
How so? Okay.
Well, like, people will say, like, if somebody said, oh, the movies are dying, nobody's going to the movies anymore. Well, I love to go to the movies, and I'm not unique. If I like to go to the movies, that means there's a whole lot of other people who like to go to the movies too. Like, people always think that they're different or more unique than other people. Like, they got their thing. They're like, this is my thing. And then you realize that, like, everybody else
has that exact same thing.
yeah. So, anyway, that's little.
But you are unique.
Nobody's really unique.
I'm unique.
Every single thing that you
So
like,
much different
or you
than you.
want to like, or you, it's as niche as you niche.
Oh, niche. Okay. Yeah.
As niche as you can get with something that you like. There's 100 million people that like the same thing.
Right, but not in the same combination as me.
I don't know.
No, there isn't.
I don't know. There probably is.
If you take in
the
consideration
multiverse somewhere out there.
everything that I like and put it all in a group and try to scan the whole United States, the whole world, and say, like, is there anybody in this world or United States that likes the exact same things the same way that I do? Not one person would come up because it's so different. Everybody is so different. Like,
Yeah.
I love cherry Pepsi and popcorn with a bunch of salt on it to watch a movie.
So does everybody else.
No, my wife hates cherry Pepsi. She would never pick that.
She is an animal.
That's what I've said. You like
That
it.
is un-American.
You like it too, but you would like to go watch a Deadpool movie over a Batman movie.
Nah, I don't know about that.
You would like to go see a Deadpool movie over a Joker movie.
For sure. Who wouldn't?
Me,
You'd rather see Joker than Deadpool.
100%.
Oh my God. This angers me. I don't even want to talk about it anymore.
And
Let's
that's
get off
the
that subject.
uniqueness of us. That's
That's
why
not
I'm
unique.
unique.
That's just stupidity, Jerry.
That's not true. I would go see a Swamp Thing movie over a Deadpool movie.
Yeah, so would I, for sure.
Really? But you picked Deadpool over Swamp Thing, so that's silly.
No, there hasn't. What is that noise?
Something in here, right?
It's rain. And
Oh, that
hail.
is rain. Yep. It's pretty severe.
Wow.
Think about it. At 10:30 in the PM.
I wonder if they can hear that on the microphone. Is there a tornado coming?
Not that I know of.
Tornado.
We do have a
tornado.
Yeah, so we are recording during
That's
a-
how much
a
we care
tornado
about
watch.
you, our listening audience. We are recording in the middle of a tornado. There is no basement here. We're on a slab of concrete.
We're just very dedicated.
This could be the end of Snarf Talk.
It's not. It's a very small thing.
I don't
here.
think that rain is coming in sideways, dude.
Hang on, let me stop.
Anyway, so that's the end of that.
Either way, Swamp Thing's better than everything you ever loved.
All right. Do you have any other news?
No, that was really it that I could remember. Oh, there was one thing that there was one thing Tom King put out. Well, a bunch of people were asking if Batman would self-isolate in a time like this. And Tom King put out a Twitter, answer, basically, because so many people were asking him. And he just said, hell yeah.
Oh, that's so fucking annoying.
Yeah, it really is.
It's so annoying. I don't even want to hear about that.
It's
obnoxious.
very on topic. He's doing it to make sure that people
Every celebrity talking right now pisses me off.
So beyond this, I don't agree with that. I think Batman would absolutely not self-isolate. He would be going and creating new serums and antiviral medications and be putting it in the water supply. That's what Batman would be doing.
Right.
But Joe Rogan had a thing that came out, he was talking to Tom Segura. It came out 2 days ago. And so Gal Gadot.
This is my favorite thing in the world.
Oh my gosh. So Gal Gadot put out a big video where she had a bunch of friends, a bunch of celebrities singing Imagine by John Lennon. And
I did watch it too.
did you? I've never watched it.
Oh, it's awful.
So apparently it's very on the nose.
It's
and
just
obnoxious.
And
Yeah.
the singing is so bad, off key. Everybody's on the wrong. Oh, it's really bad.
And so Joe Rogan finally came out and said, what fucking idiots to put out a video that says and he says, imagine a world with no heaven. He's like, think how some people would take that. He's like, people are having multiple family members die or people that they know die. He's like, and they have nothing to hold on to. And then you're going to sing this song and say they've went nowhere and they're just dead. And then there's nothing to hold on to besides I'm a celebrity and I feel for you. Like he just went on this rant, and really blasting these people to say, if like you live in a completely comfortable life wherever you want to go, and then everybody else could be suffering or needing to escape or whatever, and you're just going to put out this video like you're doing something. Like, are you really doing something by putting this video out, by singing a John Lennon song?
Right.
No, you're not.
That's my favorite memes going around, or like there's this whole big slew of memes going around that's celebrities like complaining and crying about having to stay at home.
Yeah.
In their gigantic mansions. And it's great. Every single meme is amazing. And it's, that's what's super annoying to me about the whole thing.
I completely agree. A big one was that actually made me feel a little bit better. I really like Bert Kreischer.
Yeah.
So he's pretty funny. He has a gimmick that he has of, like, they call him the Machine, and he's like about drinking and partying and stuff. But if you follow him in his like day-to-day life, he talks about how most of the time he doesn't drink much at home. Like when he's on the road and on tour, he does. And he started talking about like how it's an issue, and he's like, I don't need to be doing that anymore. But he started saying, like, when all of this came down and started happening, he's on a worldwide tour right now. And he said his Netflix special dropped one day last week sometime, like in the end of March. And he started thinking, like, I need to get on Instagram. I need to get on this and start promoting, like, the Netflix special come out. Like, this is where I'm going to be touring. This is where all the dates are. Like, I need to start hammering people, telling them this stuff. Like, if you're stuck at home, watch my special. And then he started saying, and he said it on the podcast, Joe Rogan's podcast. He's like, wait a minute. He's like, so many more people have way more to worry about than watching my Netflix special. He's like, and so many more people could care less about watching anything on Netflix right now or worrying about if I'm going to postpone a tour date. He said, and it immediately like made me think, I definitely need to rethink what I'm trying to do in life. He said, because right now, all I ever think about is promoting. He's like, and it's so selfish of me to think of that. And maybe this is all just sparked because of this pandemic going on.
No, I think
it's really good.
A fundamental shift.
I think it's really good self-reflection on his part, because he's like, I sat in a hammock one day for like 2 hours and thought, none of what I do really matters.
Well, this is a whole separate conversation, but I've been thinking about this a lot lately. And I'm like, how crazy it is that, and there's a lot of the economy that's still happening in the quote unquote essential stuff, but
whoa, I'm essential.
So
buddy.
am I. So
that's true.
But what, 85% of everything has been shut down, basically. Let's just randomize it. 85%. I don't know, somewhere in that range. And, I hate to say this because it's going to sound shitty, but I think we're going to find that most of what people are doing is completely irrelevant.
Right. Yes.
And I'm not saying like, I'm essential, so what I'm doing is relevant. And I don't mean it like that. I just mean like, I think there's a lot of people out there realizing right now that everything that they do is completely freaking irrelevant, and that I go and sit in a box for 8 hours a day so somebody can give me a check so I can take that check and spend it on shit.
Yes.
So that they can take that check and give it to somebody to sit in a box. And I think a lot of people are going to realize, wait, why are we sitting in the box again?
Yeah.
Just to get the check? Just to spend the money?
Right.
The whole economy, it's a house of cards. All of it's irrelevant, almost, it seems like at this point. And because literally we've been doing this for a week, but call it 2 weeks now, and essentially nothing has changed. And I get it. There's a lot of people out of work. They're like, hey, I can't afford it. I'm worried about getting kicked out of my house. That's not what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's real. But that they're in that position in the first place, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the amount of people that are realizing now, they're like, wait a minute, how many jobs are based off of an economy that's irrelevant, that just exists to self-perpetuate itself?
Yes. And the whole self-perpetuation of what we do at home, really, like we're being stuck at home. So everybody's on internet, everybody's watching TV, everybody's doing these things. But a lot of things on TV, when you talk about sports is driven by who is going to come and watch it and who's going to watch it on TV. But yet sports has been completely taken off the map because nobody can come and watch it anyways. So it's done. So therefore, us watching it on TV doesn't give them any money anymore either, which then tells them, like, you are completely useless.
Yeah.
To
Look at it.
the
It's
entire
been done
world
now for a month.
Everything
and it's
about
completely nothing has changed. Other than a bunch of people are like, oh, that's kind of sucks.
Other than the bitch of everybody else saying, like, man, I can't watch opening day baseball and I can't watch.
But you might as well say, I can't watch the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I know. It's the same thing. And now people are going to realize that it is the same thing. So it's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of how we live. Like, yes, it is an inconvenience. And yes, we do enjoy something like that. And when it comes back, we are absolutely going to indulge. But it is completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
And even my job being essential, the only reason we are essential is because it's a waterway that needs to flow. And it's so that flooding doesn't happen.
Very essential.
But that wouldn't happen. It wouldn't have even been created if we didn't need all the supplies that we need.
Well, right, but we do need the supplies that we need.
But the supplies we need are only essential because we've built up such a huge structure that we have to support it.
Yeah, but we do have to support a structure all the time. So that is essential. That's infrastructure.
I understand that, but we've built it up to the way it is because of these non-essential things.
But no.
Yes, it is.
Okay, the shipping grain down the river is not essential. Shipping oil up in the river is not essential. I mean, goods have to flow and through an efficient transportation system. That's infrastructure, and that is critical.
But not to the extent of what it is, because of goods in and of itself is because of the extra things that we have. Like the amount of stuff that we use in the United States is because of all of the extra things we have. Think about how many goods like one ballpark uses for one day of a game.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
But I'm not even like specifically talking about that. I'm talking about like all the people that work random just desk jobs in marketing or in the stock market or in blah, 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 you name it. Like things like that. I think it's just people realizing like what is important and what's not important. And am I only existing in this cycle to perpetuate the cycle? I just think it's an interesting situation that we're in right now. And honestly, and I get it that we're not in the heavily hit area, A, and B, I don't know everybody's situation, but for the most part, things are relatively unchanged. And the other thing that I think is going to be a mind-blowing situation for everybody to be in, including mainly businesses and employees, is everybody now for almost probably a month has been like basically working from home and not having any meetings. Like how many meetings are people going to realize now are completely worthless and a waste of time?
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Is everybody going to sit down and finally realize now that like, wait a minute, do we need to be here for 5 days a week, 10 hours a day? Does this need to occur?
It'll happen again though.
No, it will. But how many companies are looking at it going, wait a minute, we're getting the exact same amount of money. We're getting the same amount of work done right now, and our employees are staying at home and only working 3 days a week,
and do like conference calls or teleworking.
Yeah. Oh, guess what? We're not spending $20 million to fly people all around the country to have meetings right now
because the internet exists and you can. But that was
happening before.
I know. And
maybe this will be the end of that, which is a good thing.
For some companies, I think it will, but honestly, I don't. Depending on the length of how long we have to stay home and how long this happens, I think it'll be a greater change with us afterwards if we're in this longer.
Well, for sure. If it ends in 2 weeks.
But if it ends in 2 weeks,
we're back to normal.
I just really feel like most companies, most people are going to go back to the same way of living. And it's even with just going out to eat. Like most people are probably realizing, again, some people, this is affecting how they eat much more than what it is me. But I think a lot of people will understand that I don't necessarily need to eat out as much, or like I'm not as dictated on food. Like my life isn't dictated on food going out as it is being home. Like you can easily make the same things at home.
Yeah.
Like I think it could dictate that kind of stuff, but if it ends next week or 2 weeks from now, I think it'll go back to completely normal.
I don't think that's going to happen. What I think is going to happen is what we'll see is about May, we'll start seeing a lightening up of, what's kind of happening right now. But that's a complete guess on my part. But I just have a feeling that what we're going to come to realize at some point is that the most important thing is isolating people who are sick.
Well, in family. The most important thing is family, Chris.
It is in the respect that the major way of transmission of this disease is intra-family.
I know.
So that is like literally that doctor I was talking about, that was his main talking point. He's like, the problem is when somebody gets sick, they infect 5 people in their household.
So, and you brought up a good point when we were talking to Erica on our, on Facebook Messenger, when you talked about Italy having the most, like generationally mingled families. Like,
yeah, they have an extremely much
co-living
older population too.
But the co-living of
Yeah.
like multi-generational living, where you have young and old living together, and where the United States doesn't have that as much, but in Italy they do. So a lot of young people were contracting the disease and giving it to their grandparents, which it just ran rampant throughout the country because of that. And that makes a lot of sense. And then in the United States,
They
like
also
how
have
many
an
people
older on average population?
Oh, do they?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, I didn't know that. But think about that throughout the United States. Like how often do you hear of people living with their grandparents?
Right.
Like children, parents, grandparents all living together. You just don't hear of it as often in the United States.
The one thing that's hard, it's getting difficult to like, it's hard for me to mentally get past this, right? So you look at the statistics and the data, and the amount of the effect on people under the age of 60 is so minimal statistically.
Really is.
But on the news, it is nonstop all day long. This 40-year-old died. This 30-year-old died. Today, an infant died.
That's all they talked about today was the infant.
And
Stop it.
So it's hard to look at that and not be like, have it freak you out a little bit. And you're like, wait a minute, I thought this was only old people. And they're like, nope, 35-year-old just died. And you're like, okay.
Right.
But then you look at the statistics, and it's like, well,
It's like one 35-year-old died. Oh, okay.
and but it's hard.
But they don't tell you any underlying causes, any past, because you can't. Like there are HIPAA violations where you cannot give out people's
Right, for sure.
health
I do worry.
information.
Sometimes
but
I worry about.
you just can't talk about that stuff.
I know a lot of people with underlying conditions, so you worry about them, of course. Even Graham has asthma, really bad asthma. That could be a problem. Asthma is a problem.
Amy and I talked about that a lot, and I was like, Graham cannot get this. His asthma is terrible. He's been on a steroid 3 times since December because of we don't know what at this point, because he's so young. Like we know he's very allergic to things. He's got to take an allergy medicine like almost every day. We've been giving it to him consistently to try to like
have him come talk to me when he's taking 3 a day.
Right, but for a 3-year-old, we can't really give him much. There isn't much for 2 and 3-year-olds to take at this point.
Zyrtec.
It's just trying to figure out what he's allergic to, or like if it's actually like his surroundings that he's allergic to, or if it's just pets, or if it's food, things like that. Like he's not allergic to food. We know. We know he's allergic to like dogs. That's why we had to change our whole babysitter plan, which caused a lot of issues. There's just been a lot to it. So in a situation where a small child like him were to get it, it would be very detrimental to us. I think it would be very hard to combat because he is very susceptible to like a breathing issue, which this is obviously a respiratory infection. So I think it could affect a lot more for somebody like him. But then I started hearing, like, haven't you heard about blood types being
I have.
different?
That's the new thing they just started talking about, but there's really nothing behind that yet.
So they were saying like the A blood type is most susceptible, and then O, of course, is the best because I have.
Yeah, me too.
O. Are you an O?
Yeah, but most people are. It's the most common blood type.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Nice. Amy's an A.
Yeah, that's pretty rare. My mom's super rare. She's an AB, I think.
Really? My mom's an A. My dad's, I think, an A. My sister's an A. I'm an O positive.
Yeah, me too.
Really?
Universal donor.
You're the best, Chris. No wonder we're friends.
I've heard that too. I don't know if there's any truth to that. And I don't think they have any real data to back that up yet. But there's a speculation.
There is a speculation. And I would say it's true just because.
You want it to be.
I mean, look at us.
All right. I don't know where we're at on time, but do we have any more news?
I don't have any more news. No. We're at an hour 36. We got 20 minutes.
All right. Because I want to do some what I've been watching.
Go for it.
Number 1.
Devs.
Yeah, I have been watching that. That's not my number 1 thing I've been watching, though.
Okay.
I've been watching the thing that everybody in the United States of America has been watching.
Tiger King.
The Tiger King.
Oh, my gosh, Chris. Did you finish it?
I did finish it.
I have not finished it.
You've not finished it? Then we shouldn't talk about it yet.
Can we talk about the first 4 episodes?
Oh, you're 4 in? Okay.
How many are there?
6 or 7.
Okay, because I only watched 4. I haven't finished it all yet because every single time, so I start watching it and then I fall asleep. Yeah.
Yes.
And then the next
Me and Marley
morning,
have been watching it together, and every night we both fall asleep, and then
Yep.
the next day we have to rewatch that half the episode, and then the next half, then we fall asleep.
and we don't watch it with the boys around just because.
Oh, no.
Like there's some pretty serious
Yeah,
stuff
no
that I
way.
don't want my children
You
to
can't
hear.
watch that with kids around.
And my 7-year-old hears literally everything you say.
Yeah.
He knows not to say it. I just don't want him to hear it because I don't know what he's saying to Bryce.
Right.
Or Cash or anybody else.
Speaking of him, I got him a book, Grady.
You got him
like
a book?
a novel.
Oh, nice.
We ordered one for Cash, and I don't know, somehow Marley hit 2 instead of 1, so we got 2. And she was going to send it back, but it was only a $5 book. I'm like, you're going to pay $3 to ship it back. We'll just give it to Grady.
Yeah, I got $5 in my pocket.
But it's
rich.
I don't know, the cover is like anime, but it's it's like a children's novel.
Yeah, he would love it.
He'll like it.
He reads.
Well, I was thinking about
books
it
every day.
I'm like, well, we got to give this to somebody that I feel like he's at an advanced reading level, so he'll be able to read it. It looks fairly advanced.
He's forced to read 20 minutes a day every day, so he reads a lot.
Wow. We've just given our kids iPads for this entire time.
No, I mean, our kids do that too.
Literally shoved them in a corner.
But you'll find out next year when Cash is in 2nd grade. That's like every month it advances, and at this month in March they had to read 20 minutes a day, but then they just had like a Zoom call, like a Zoom like conference thing with their teacher, and his teacher said that I want you to read every day now instead of like they were doing 20 minutes for 11 days of the month. But they can't go back to school. So she said, don't care about those 11 days. I want you to read 20 minutes every day because they're not getting that in class time reading.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of a bummer because they got to start school now again on Monday.
Tuesday.
Yeah. E-learning.
So we basically hired a teacher. It's not really. It's like a babysitter.
Oh, 1%er over here.
It's our babysitter. It's because my mom is super sick, and she's at home, and we obviously don't want her to come home, or come to our house because she just has like strep throat, and she doesn't have a fever. Nope. Hopefully not, because she's 64. So let's hope she doesn't have anything like that.
Doesn't.
But she just had strep throat and didn't feel good, and she's like, and her doctor told her to stay home for at least 10 days. So she's staying home. So we got a friend of ours, or like a lady that Amy works with. Her daughters were in high school a while ago, but like one of her daughters is a teacher in Lincoln High School, and she's at home doing nothing. So we said, why don't you come over and watch our kids, and then you can do the e-learning, because she said, I would absolutely want to teach kids during this time. And she's babysat our kids before. So she's coming over on Monday and going to babysit and also do the e-learning thing with them.
Nice.
Perfect. Because Amy and I are non-existent parents and we go to work during the day and
Yeah.
don't pay attention to them until at least 4:30 at night.
Well, I had a solid plan rolling. I downloaded a bunch of apps on Cash's iPad and I put them in a folder. Some ones I had to pay for that were kind of expensive.
Yeah.
And for a while, he was coming to the office with me. This was before daycare closed, so it was just him.
Yeah.
So I had a whole thing set up, and he would sit right here at my desk, and I had him do an hour of science, an hour of math,
Nice.
an hour of
An hour of each?
yeah, an hour of
They don't even
reading
do
or
this in
English,
school.
which was on ABC Mouse, and then something else. What was the other one?
I tell you what, that ABC mouse is really good.
Yeah, but it doesn't work on tablets very well.
Doesn't
It's
it?
very glitchy. Works great on a laptop.
Oh, see, that's the only time we've only used it on a laptop.
It's terrible on a tablet. But anyway, so it was great. It was going great because I'd have them 9 to 10 to 11 or 9 to 11:30, and then I'd give him a half an hour to do whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
It's like
Recess.
recess, and then lunch, and then and he'd go from 1 to 3.
Nap time.
No, and then he would work on school stuff, and then after that, till 5, whenever I go home from work, he would be able to do
Punishment.
whatever he want.
Punishment time.
That was working great, but then the other kids got let out too. So Cash ended up staying home. All 3 kids are at home with Marley trying to work from home, and you can't.
You can't do it.
You can't do that.
That's the big thing about this whole teleworking and working from home.
You can't do it with kids.
You cannot do it with especially 3 kids under the age of 6 or 7 or even 8 years old.
It doesn't matter the age. The only way that you can work from home with kids is if they sit on an iPad all day.
I know. Or if you had somebody come in
Which
your
is
house and watch your kids.
Terrible. I'm talking from experience because we let our kids do it all the time.
So bad.
Especially now. But it ruins their behavior for the rest of the day.
You're 100% correct because we yell and scream at our kids after they've been on a tablet, but not before. Before they've ever been on
It
one.
ruins the whole day.
So
Everything about them is awful except for all the things that are amazing about them. That's the problem.
I know, and I don't want to get into it. This is a big conversation that we can have off of air because it's just not anything that's enjoyable to listen to. Yeah. Tiger King.
Yeah, is that what we were talking about?
Yes, Tiger King. So I watched the first 4 episodes, just like you've watched the whole season. I just kept seeing everybody talk about it and talking about seeing all these memes, so many memes about it. And I thought it was a joke. I thought this was a fake thing. Turns out real people are Joe Exotic. Joe Exotic is a real person. This man really made country music videos. I saw a tiger and a tiger saw a man.
They're not bad, actually.
It's not terrible.
It's really not.
It's really close to Joe Diffie quality.
Yeah, it's hard to get too far into it when you haven't watched the whole thing. I will say
I haven't seen the end.
it started to wane on me a little by the middle of it. I started to lose interest about episode 4.
So episode 4 the other night, it was just last night actually. Not last night, the night before, Friday night. I was like, okay, it's just the same stuff over and over and over.
And the last episode's good too, but it does start to lose interest about there. But that's fine. You can kind of power through it because it's not that many episodes.
Okay.
It's a super interesting story, but the most interesting thing about the story is this weird subsection of people that exist in their own little bubble universe that you had no idea that it existed.
And I tell you what, they're all
crazy,
very strange in their own way.
Yeah, they're all very crazy. It's really an incredible thing.
So Carol Baskins,
yeah, she's so freaking wildly crazy.
She's apparently trying to save these animals, all these big cats.
But it's a joke. I mean, it's not real.
From being in cages. I don't want any of these animals to be in these tight cages and be treated terribly. I'm going to bring them to my animal rescue and put them in cages.
Well, no, that what she says that she's working towards is she wants to end the breeding.
I
So
understand that.
these animals are already existing,
But-
so she's got to rescue them,
But
and
when
they
you-
have to be in cages, obviously.
No, when you first meet her in that documentary, it's her in a cage saying, no animals, none of these big cats or animals should be kept in cages. Nobody likes to be
I
kept in
think you're
cages.
misconstruing what was going on there. Her point was.
I understand her point, but she specifically says they should not be kept in cages, and she's sitting
Well,
in
obviously
a cage.
they have to be kept in cages, but
No.
because they're already alive.
No, she's saying they should be set
We need to
free.
end this practice. She owned a zoo.
It was not a zoo; it was a rescue.
She owned it. No, before. Have you seen the episode with her husband that she killed?
Yes, it wasn't a zoo.
Yeah, but that was before they were a rescue. They were doing cub petting and breeding back then.
Oh, I guess I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So she herself with her husband, before they were the big cat rescue,
Okay.
were doing breeding and cub petting. Her husband was big into it.
Yeah, that's the one I had just watched Friday night.
Okay.
That's
and
the last one I
she
watched.
after that, obviously, but it isn't for moral reasons. Like she realized that there was a business aspect to it.
100%.
She's not a good person.
No, she's not. But she is, like every single other of one of these crazy people have said, she's very good at marketing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, like it, obviously, and then they did the same thing with Making a Murderer and all these things. They take you on a ride with all these characters.
Yeah.
They make you love Joe Exotic, hate Joe Exotic, and then by the end, you'll find out how you feel about him.
And Doc Antle, he's a strange bird.
And that's another one. They make you,
you think
hate
he's the
that
good.
guy
You think,
at very first, and then he starts doing some weird things.
yeah.
And then you hate him.
With,
and
like,
then towards the
polygamy.
and, well, not even that. I'm just talking about, like, how he... Because that's just his lifestyle. But I'm just talking about, like, how he weirdly addresses the camera and is, like, directing them. It's just...
Yes.
You can tell he's, like, a bad person.
Yes, absolutely you can.
But then towards
All
the
of them.
end, yeah, they're all bad people.
So in the very first intro of the whole show, there's one guy, it's just like this off guy that they interview every once in a while. He says, like, you've met people that keep like exotic animals before, and like the people that keep like primates and things like that are strange. But then he's like, but these people that keep big cats and everything are fucked up. They're bad.
And they are.
And they're terrible people.
Yeah.
And that's specifically what he says. And then it leads on from there. And you realize, like, yep.
But then they show that
guy
one clip
nailed
of
it.
Shaq buying 2 tigers.
I know.
Where are they keeping these tigers?
Mike Tyson has 2 tigers.
Where
He always
are they
has.
keeping them?
Backyards. I asked Amy today if we could have a guard tiger.
I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I was under the impression, I think maybe that having tigers was more dangerous than it is. These guys are just walking around with these tigers.
I mean, if you raise the tiger from a cub, it's like
but
anything.
didn't that one kill like Siegfried or Roy or one of those?
It did. Listen, I raised raccoons when I was little, and I had these little raccoon cubs. I guess you'd call them cubs, right?
Yeah.
I had 2 little baby raccoons, and I raised them. My dad let me, and he told me, this is a mistake, and you're going to find out it's a mistake. And I remember him telling me, like, you shouldn't do this.
They're wild animals.
The reason for that is because he had done the exact same mistake when he was a child. So I raised these little raccoons. They came up to like be mature, and I had them in my backyard. I fed them grapes all the time. I thought it was awesome. They would peel the skin off the grapes. You had to have water by them.
Did you pet them and stuff?
Yeah, I had them with me all the time. Like I'd go out in the backyard. They lived in a shed with a rabbit and 2 cats. So they just all lived together. And I would give them grapes all the time, and they'd dunk the grapes in the water, and then they'd peel the skin off the grapes, and they'd throw the skin off, and they'd just eat the inside. And I would sit for hours and watch them do that stuff.
To watch, yeah.
And so once they reached a certain age, all they wanted to do was fight the cat, fight the rabbit, and bite me. Like that's it. Like they just constantly wanted to bite me and attack me. They wouldn't let me get like close to them. They didn't like any of the other animals around them. They ate a couple of my chickens because I had like Bantam chickens, like small ones. They went into the cage and ate a couple of my chickens, and I couldn't keep control of them. I thought they were like cats, basically, at the time. They are not. They are wild animals. Their genetics are to be a wild animal.
Were to castrate them.
They were all both female.
Well, they were both females.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it was, and they were not friendly. Once they got to a certain age, they were not friendly whatsoever. They did not like me, and I raised them from they were my child. I almost breastfed them,
but
and then I realized I couldn't breastfeed an animal.
Listen, the difference here is those are animals that you took from the wild.
Correct.
These tigers are bred.
They are bred, but does that change their genetics?
Well, over time, sure. So how many generations of non-wild tigers have, you know what I mean?
You don't know, though. Yeah, you don't know.
I mean, I know. I think it takes a long, long time. It probably took tens of thousands of years for dogs.
Which apparently we are not there yet for
with the tigers. Yeah. But these guys are always walking around with the tigers. They don't. They're like. I mean, obviously they ripped off that one girl's arm, but
yeah, but he's in the cage with like 6 to 7 to 8 to 10 tigers. It just
never seems like it's an issue.
No, he literally was yelling at one like, "Stop it! You're ripping. This is a new shirt. Stop doing that."
Yeah, it's weird.
Come on.
And they're bringing them out to like groups of people. That Doc Antle guy, like
yeah,
full-size tigers. See, that's what I'm.
It's like a 800-pound tiger, and you just have it on a chain. You cannot control that.
Right.
It would drag you around. They show half a cow. They throw half a cow out into this lot, and one tiger drags half of a cow wherever it wants to go.
Oh yeah.
I mean, do you know?
Aren't they like 600 pounds or something? They're crazy.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's like they can drag anything they want, like up a tree.
They could also just lay on you and kill you.
Right, they could.
Anyway, no, it's a crazy show.
It is.
You got to finish it so we can discuss where you end up on what you think about it.
Okay.
Because you haven't even been exposed to the Jeff guy, right? Yeah.
No, I haven't yet.
Yeah. Okay.
I haven't yet.
So there's a lot more to go, but there's a crazy amount of redneckery going on.
I love redneckery.
I do too, honestly. I really do. I really like it as well. There's, it's interesting to see. Where are they at? Missouri? Oklahoma.
No, Jeff Exotic is in Oklahoma. Carol Baskins is in Florida.
She's in Florida, right? And the other guy's in like South Carolina or something.
North or South Carolina, the Doc Antle guy. And then there's one guy in Indiana, southern Indiana.
What blows my mind is that Doc Antle guy. They talk about to get in, it's $600 a day.
Well, he said it ranges. He has one that
but their
was
lowest was $600.
No, $325.
Oh yeah, that's right.
For like a drive-through of his.
Would you
exhibits.
pay $325 per person to drive through?
Hard no.
That's insanity.
That's a hard
right?
no.
Is that not crazy?
And then he said there's a $655. He said that day they had a guy pay $655 for cub petting. And then that's when they interviewed one of those strange people that was like, I love tigers. I'd pay them anything to be around tigers.
He said, I've done it 3 days in a row.
Yeah, he said, I'd come every day if I could.
How do you have that much money?
He doesn't.
That's insanity.
They don't have that much money.
They're dumb.
People don't understand finances to begin with, and they think as soon as you get money, you can spend it, and it doesn't matter the next month.
Right.
Turns out you have to have money all the time.
Right.
So
I think a lot of people are finding that out, unfortunately, now.
That is very true.
All right. Tiger King. We'll talk about it more once Jerry finishes it. He'll have it done by next week. So
yeah, I would say it's something you could delve into. There have been people that I've noticed that are on my social media that I know that have said it's not anything that they've ever wanted to watch. They started it and said it's uninteresting to them.
Well, listen.
But there are other people that have said, this is something everyone needs to watch. Tiger King.
I'm definitely not in that camp. I'll tell you that right now. I was very intrigued by the first couple episodes.
I think it's hilarious.
Really
so far.
Kind of slows down in the middle and peters out towards the end. But, it's fine. Marley liked it more than me. It's definitely not something I loved. I liked it a lot better than that Don't Fuck with the Cats show.
Don't get me started on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm angry about that show.
Okay. Next.
I have been watching Devs. I love it, but I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on it because we're in mid-season.
I know, and we've talked about it every
other
episode,
than to say like it's a great show and everybody should be watching it.
And I tell you what, the last episode I watched, I haven't watched the one that came out this week.
Me neither.
But the one before that, after the last time we were recorded, had a pretty big, like a little bit of a turn there.
Big twist.
A little bit of a twist there that threw me for a loop.
But then I read the description for the next episode, which gives you a little insight onto what goes on.
Okay, well, I have not read that, and
I didn't mean to.
I'm left.
Read it.
I'm left at what I saw the last time. Whew.
Yeah, it was interesting.
A lot of things happened there. Nick Offerman, dude.
He's great, man.
I
really like that head
enough.
of security guy, though. He's great too.
Yes, he's very good. He's been in a lot of stuff. I don't know his name.
The girl is annoying to me.
I don't know if that's the way they wanted her to play the character or if she just can't act.
I don't know, but she's annoying.
I don't think she acts very well. I don't know how to explain her besides like you can't act. Like you're not good at acting.
I don't know. I think that's the way she's supposed to be.
Really?
Yeah.
It must be the way they want to go forward with that show, obviously, since they're putting it out, but she does not like give out information very well, or she doesn't speak very well.
She's very bland.
But even the way she speaks is like almost like she doesn't know what she was supposed to say at that time. Like she almost forgot her lines.
Yeah.
And then she just like spews them out, and it is what it is. And that's what they took.
I don't buy the twist at the end. I don't think, I think for some reason I have a feeling like she's going to get brought into the fold more than she is.
Right. Oh. I don't know. We'll continue on that.
I've also, I'm watching Dave, but I'm behind an episode on that, but we're not going to talk too much about that. I actually like Dave better than Devs. Dave's the best show I'm watching right now by far.
By far.
It's amazing. That's what everybody should be watching is Dave.
If you have a Hulu subscription, please watch Dave. It is the most
most fun.
Interesting show, funny show.
It's great.
Like everything about it is like some of it is like a little bit off-putting.
Oh,
wouldn't you say?
for
Like,
sure.
Where you're like, oh my gosh, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's so funny though.
He
is so awkward.
It's really good.
In such a great way. I love it.
Yeah.
I don't even like rap. I don't like rap music. I really don't.
Yeah, but it's not really about that even anyway.
It's not. I mean, it's based around his rap career and him making a career in rap music. And I don't like that type of music, but everything about his life is what the show is about, and it is hilarious.
Yeah, it's great. I finished Curb Your Enthusiasm. The season ended for this year.
Didn't watch it.
It was a good season. It was a good season. I wasn't crazy about the ending of it, but it was a fun, good season. I don't know. I wonder. I mean, I think it'll come back. I hope it does.
I don't see why it wouldn't.
I don't know. I think that was season 10.
Yeah, it might take a couple of years, but he'll bring another one.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
I guarantee you,
it's been one of the better seasons in a long time.
You'll see at least one more season. I guarantee you.
Yeah, because they didn't end it in a way that says the show's over.
Right.
They actually did that like a couple years ago.
They did.
And
a lot of people thought like this is the end.
Yeah, and then it just came back. That was like season
like
8,
randomly.
Maybe.
It randomly came back with nobody knowing it was coming.
Yeah. So that was good. The only other thing I've watched, and there's been some things here and there, but like I do watch the Goldbergs and Superstore are two of my favorites.
Goldbergs is good.
But I watched the Will Smith movie, Spies in Disguise.
I don't know that movie.
It's an animated kids movie.
Really?
Where Will Smith is like a secret agent and he gets turned into a pigeon.
Okay.
By like his gadget maker guy. He's like James Bond. And the other guy, this kid, is like his, what is it? Is it Q that makes the gadgets?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like his Q. Anyway, somehow he gets turned into a pigeon. He has to fight crime. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I mean, I don't have anything to say about it.
Was it good?
Nah, I mean, it was fine. It was a kids movie, but nothing that stood out. Let me put it this way.
Great.
I watched that movie twice now. I've seen it. Whatever. I watched Frozen 2 the other day for the 8th time.
Loved it.
It gets better every time. It is such a good movie, dude. It
I am
is so good.
I'm so glad you say that because Graham, my youngest child, Graham, only wants to watch that movie. Basically, he always says, like, I want to watch Anna. I want to watch Anna. And we're like, do you want to watch the first one or do you want to watch the
good one?
And that's all we say to him. Like do you want to watch the first one or do you want to watch the And he says, yeah, that one. And so we played the second one and he loves it. He loves everything about it. And I have not grown tired of this movie.
It's so good.
At certain points, I've grown tired, but
Yeah,
other
for sure, but-
other points in the movie, I'm like, oh gosh, I love that.
Yeah.
Love that part.
The music. It's the music, really.
There's only one part of the movie that I think is ridiculous. One part. And it's where she's being chased by the land giants. It's my son's favorite part, but I think it's the most ridiculous because she absolutely should have been killed. She 100% should have been crushed. No, I know. This is very like nitpicky. She should have absolutely been crushed by a foot or a hand or a rock. Like it was so close to her being dead. And she should have been dead in all reality.
Okay.
But the best part about this, I think the best part about that movie, and this is like, it's rare to see where a man, so the man comes up. So Sven comes up riding the,
Riding dirty.
Riding dirty on his.
Gotta get you riding dirty. Gotta get you riding dirty.
Yeah, riding dirty on his reindeer.
Yeah.
What's the reindeer's name?
Sven Gulli.
No, Sven and. We've seen this so many times and we can't remember the guys' names.
Is it Sven?
Sven is the guy, right?
That's Kristoff.
Oh, Kristoff is the guy. Sven is the reindeer.
Yeah.
I always get them mixed up. So Kristoff's riding the reindeer, Sven, and they come up and she just about gets stomped on by a land giant, and he swoops her up, and she's like Kristoff, and all he says is, "What do you need?" And she tells him, and then they go. Like he wasn't there to save the day. He wasn't there to like be this big hero or anything. He's there to say like, what do you need me to do? Let's go do it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was huge. Like it's a huge plot point in the movie and a lot of people overlook it. But in every other movie that you were ever to see, any Disney movie you were ever to watch, any other movie besides Disney you were to watch, if somebody comes in and swoops up somebody and takes them somewhere, they would say like, this is what we're going to do. Especially a man and a woman. A man would normally swoop up the woman and say, I'm here to save you. But he comes and swoops her up and says, what do you need me to do? And then she tells him and they go and do it. And I think it's incredible. And I love that point of the movie. I think it's awesome.
I guess I haven't really paid attention to that.
You need to pay attention to that part because it's
I pretty much
moving.
It's like background noise to me at this point, but then I just pay attention at the songs.
Yeah, they're so good.
That
Kristoff song is my favorite.
That Into the Woods song.
Oh yeah.
The Kristoff song.
I know.
Is so good. It's the best song in the movie.
Hey, guess what? Listen back a few episodes and you'll you'll hear me say like that is my favorite song.
It's really good.
It's like an 80s montage.
Yeah.
Where it's like his face and the reindeer's face and
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
so good.
It's crazy. All right. What else? Anything else you've been watching?
Oh, let's think. No, nothing off the top of my head. I had the boys watch Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. They were really into that.
I've tried to get my kids to watch it. They have no interest.
They literally just started watching it before I left tonight.
Oh, okay.
Which was really sad because I wanted to watch it with them. But podcast is life.
Listen, it is not as good as you remember.
No, I don't think it is. I just think that they have enjoyed every one of the 90s movies I put in front of them. And I really get a lot of enjoyment watching them enjoy those movies, regardless of what I think.
That movie I loved, and I still like. It made me love oatmeal cream pies.
I know. I started talking about it, and Grady told me, "Stop talking. Don't ruin it for me."
Like, I'm not ruining it for you. The only thing I can ruin is how delicious oatmeal cream pies are.
And we have a whole drawer full of them right now.
We don't have any.
Oh yeah, we got a bunch of them.
Oh, they're so good.
I know. I'm on keto. I can't eat any of them.
I mean, you can do whatever you want, Cherry.
I can't.
What else? What else is going on? That's it. That's the end of the podcast.
No, that's really all I have. It is basically the end of the podcast. I'm sorry.
Where are we at?
2 hours and 6 minutes.
Holy smokes, folks. Well, I can tell you guys one thing. We have no intention of slowing down on our podcasting.
We will never stop.
All you people are at home, and you're going to live this way for months now, probably.
What I can tell you is that since you are home alone, doing nothing, turn on a podcast, turn on Snarf Talk, listen to it as background noise if you want. I don't care what you do. A lot of you listen to it on your drive. Guess what? You're not driving anywhere.
Yeah.
So
listen to it when you wash the dishes. Yeah. Do the laundry.
Exactly. Turn on your Bose speaker like I have.
Yeah.
Or turn on just your phone. Amy does that.
You can play this podcast in front of your kids. If you don't mind your kids hearing like, fuck, shit, damn.
Right. Randomly. It's very quick. It's very absurd.
But no, seriously, listen to the podcast and also check us out on patreon.com/snarfcomics.
Yeah. Become a patron if you
become a patron. Throw us some cash to improve on what we're doing. If you're a current patron, by the way,
thanks so much.
Thank you so much. If you are having like COVID blues and you want to like suspend your membership, that's cool. Just let us know.
Absolutely. Do that. If you have any sort of financial issues whatsoever, don't feel like we're
not a priority.
No,
don't make us a priority.
Take that off your list. Cancel your subscription. Whatever you need to do. Do not pay us in this time.
Down the road, if you feel more flush with cash and you want to do it again, that's fine. But you're not going to offend us. So
not in the slightest.
I think most of our patrons are probably still in pretty good shape. They're probably all working, but you never know what's going to happen a month from now.
I wouldn't put that out. I wouldn't judge on how anybody is, Chris.
Yeah.
How do you know?
No, I don't. I don't know.
Good.
So anyway, check us out on patreon.com. We do have more, like if you listen through all these and you're like, gosh, dang it. Only 2 hours a week, that's it? There's more on there. There's more on there you can listen to.
I'm putting out some script pages here tomorrow.
Yeah, I actually, have you used your downtime? I haven't really had any downtime. That's the problem.
I have.
To write?
Yeah.
You wrote some stuff?
A little bit.
I went in there the other day to write, and I didn't end up writing anything, but...
I did.
It's not good?
I don't know.
Why you seem down about it?
Because I feel like I should have written more. I have had time to do it. Like in the last 2 days, every single hour I've thought, like, maybe I should write, and then I don't.
Yeah.
And it's just aggravating. Like, I'm aggravated. I need to just make it a priority. It's just my fault. That's all.
I cracked it open the other day. I flirted with disaster, so I'm going to work on that a little more going forward. Although, for me, again, I don't have a lot of downtime. This is kind of getting into my real busy season. But
I know. That sucks. I hate your life.
Yeah, but regardless, I did crack a couple comic books the other day.
Cracked a cold brew?
Cracked a couple comic books the other day. So I would recommend, if you got a bunch of extra time, read some comic books.
Stop with the whole Wi-Fi bullshit internet stuff.
Yeah.
And get on the internet on your computer and read a book.
Yeah.
You can get so many comic books on your computer or whatever.
What I'd like to do right now is read a novel. I would like you to bring me back my copy of Dune. I want to reread it.
Oh, I gave that back to you.
Did you really?
Absolutely.
Okay. I think I'm going to reread Dune again because the movie's coming out and I want to be fresh on it.
Yep.
And I love it. The other day I was really flirting with a little Michael Crichton book, Timeline, which I've already read twice in my life. But
I started reading the whole Stephen King Gunslinger. What's the Gunslinger one?
Oh, The Dark Tower.
Dark Tower.
I want to read that.
So
Is it good?
I have the first book. I got like, I don't know, 2 chapters in.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge, so I'm not anywhere close to finished with it.
Yeah.
So far, it's just very much like world building, like building up character, like trying.
I want
to
to
tell
check
us
that
what's
one out.
going on.
I really just I love Michael Crichton, and I just keep rereading his books. But I stumbled upon Timeline the other day, and I'm like, which they made a movie of. I don't know if you remember that.
I know the name, yeah.
But I've read the book a couple times before. I'm like, it's an easy, quick read. I love that book. I've read Jurassic Park probably 3-4 times. Outbreak is super good.
I have read Outbreak.
Andromeda Strain.
I watched that show.
Wait, is that the one?
There was an
thinking?
Andromeda show.
Andromeda Strain. I like. Oh God, there's other ones I'm forgetting. Jurassic Park is great. The Lost World is actually my favorite of the novels.
I haven't read that.
Of the movies, it's good movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
But it's not the best one of the movies. But as a book, I think it's my favorite book.
Wow. That's a statement.
Not like favorite book. I
Of
meant
all
of the
time?
Jurassic Park books.
It's your favorite book of all time, Chris.
No.
Wow. That's
Anyway.
incredible.
So I think that's it for this week.
Yeah, but that's all we got.
Snarf Madness next week is the Elite Eight. So
That's huge,
We're getting there, guys. We're gonna have after next week, we're gonna have a Final Four.
This is the only bracket challenge you have.
Yeah, and regardless if
Pay
ESPN
attention.
wants to try and steal it from us,
They did steal it to us.
they did.
Steal it from us, and I sent them a direct message, and I've never heard anything back.
ESPN, you son of a bitches.
You know, all I wanted them to do was acknowledge the fact that we had a bracket.
Yeah.
And acknowledge the fact that we put it up first because we did. It's recorded,
Yeah.
and they didn't acknowledge that fact. So now we're in a direct competition with ESPN.
Nice. With Disney.
We'll easily win.
All right, guys. So for Snarf Talk this week, I've been Chris.
I'm Jerry.
See ya.